Hi everyone. I'm going to start a series where I talk about the different counseling theories, and I thought I'd start today with feminist theory. As most of you know, that is one of the theories that I incorporate into my own theoretical orientation. So feminist theory doesn't have a person that actually established and did the research to create it. Feminist theory actually evolved out of the women's rights movement and the civil rights movement in the 1960s and 70s. So there is not one person that we attribute with this theory. And feminist theory is really based on the idea that all of these social constructs around us, so gender, race, class, socioeconomic status, all these things, ethnicity, whatever it is, that those contribute to mental health symptoms, and that it is not appropriate for us to try to treat mental health symptoms without actually acknowledging the influence of all of these systems of oppression around us, even if we are benefiting from them. So feminist therapists will always incorporate these societal constructs into their treatment. And they will actually say them out loud. It's not a sort of vague, hidden thing where it's like, well, I know that this is patriarchy, but the client doesn't need to know. We actually will state it right out loud. Just say, how is patriarchy impacting you? How is systemic racism impacting you? Could this be related to capitalism and some of our class issues that we have in the United States right now? And so this is something that allows the client to really start to explore themselves in the society that is around them. And the main goal of feminist therapy is facilitating that change through empowering the client. So we want to focus on empowerment. We're empowering the client to self-advocate in smaller ways where maybe they're standing up for themselves at work or in their relationship, and all the way up to larger ways if they want to advocate for a larger goal of standing up to systems of oppression. We want to encourage and empower them to do that as well. So some of the basic tenets, anytime you talk about feminist theory, you're going to hear the statement, the person is political. And what that refers to, it's evolved in the 70s with the women's rights movement. It refers to the fact that we all live in a society. So whether we like it or not, we are impacted by society, and we have a responsibility to society to try to make it better. So the person is political. And so that's one of the tenets, is this idea of we are in a society, we are impacted by social constructs. Also, feminist theorists, feminist counselors have an egalitarian relationship with their clients. And this is similar to other theories as well. But the idea is we're not in a power position above our client. We're equal to our client. We're the experts in human behavior. They are the experts in themselves. And we come together as experts to help them reach their goals. And this empowerment is really important, or the egalitarian relationship is really important to help start to create that empowerment. By being on equal footing with us, the client is able to start to practice that empowerment and have a safe space where they can start practicing self-advocacy, start practicing standing up for themselves, and start practicing really advocating out in the larger world. Another important tenet is there's no coercion. So the client has full autonomy. This matches really well with the counseling profession, as autonomy is one of our counselor values. But it's very important we don't coerce, we don't give advice, we don't say, do this, don't do that. Even if we think that the person would benefit from standing up to some oppressor, whether it's their boss or their parent or something like that, if they don't want to, we don't try to coerce them into doing it. We give them the space to explore, and we give them the space and the autonomy to establish that for themselves. And then we also want to challenge negative beliefs, particularly those that are related to these systems of oppression. So if you have a female client who is in a heterosexual relationship and feels like they have to do all of the housework, we would ask, where does that come from? Why do you think that? Why do you think it would be wrong to ask your spouse to participate equally in the household? So we would call it out. We would call out the patriarchy that likely influenced that client. So some of the techniques, and because this is more of an academic theory than a research theory, there aren't really specific interventions. But some of the techniques are psychoeducation. So we call out how systems of oppression impact the person, even if the person is benefiting from those systems of oppression. Even if you're benefiting, it still impacts you. And then we really focus on creating the egalitarian relationship. And we use empathy to create safety and to be able to communicate that egalitarian nature of the relationship. We encourage empowerment right from the intake session. And we're not coercing it. We're not saying you need to go advocate, but we're encouraging that empowerment. And we model that empowerment. And all of the sessions really are surrounded by this idea of empowering this person to overcome their mental health symptoms, to be who they are, and ultimately, if they choose to, because autonomy is key, to start to advocate against systems of oppression. We want to challenge negative beliefs, particularly those related to social constructs and systems of oppression. And we maintain that autonomy and allow them to experience that autonomy, because in some cases it may be the first time they have, and really create an autonomous relationship with them. And then we encourage that self-advocacy and self-efficacy. We don't coerce, we don't try to talk them into it, but we encourage it. What would it look like if you could stand up for yourselves? What do you think it would be like if you were to actually able to go and tell people, hey, this is a problem and I think it should stop? What would it look like if you set this boundary? So that's kind of how we encourage without coercing, right? What would it look like, but not coercing? Obviously, there's a lot more to this theory, but I do want to keep this video short for you guys. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at any point. And if there's a specific theory that you would like me to cover, please go ahead and shoot me an email and let me know.